Hi, this is Elisa from Colourised Cinema. Our team has colorized the 1954 British comedy film What Every Woman Wants, directed by Maurice Elvey and starring William Sylvester, Elsie Albiene, Brenda de Banzi, and Patrick Doonan. It also features Brian Ricks and Prunella Scales. If you want to watch more colorized movies like this and receive notifications, click the link in the description or comments section. Join our newsletter and get notified about the latest classic movies we have colorized. Now let the time traveling begin.
Oh, Mark, I'd like you and the lads to work over this evening.
Oh?
Just till job's finished. It's a rush order from America. You know what that means.
Yeah, I know what it means, all right. More profit for the boss.
You'll get your overtime rates, same as usual.
No, thanks.
I wouldn't say no, Mark. I could do with the money.
Well, I'm not stopping you. You can work 24 hours a day if you're fool enough.
Don't be so daft, Mark. You know very well they can't go on without you.
That's their bad luck. I've got something better to do tonight.
One of your meetings, I suppose.
Yes.
Going to dream up more rubbish to paint on people's walls?
Now, you listen to me. For no fault of yours, you're my father-in-law. Through no fault of mine, I have to live in your house. All right, then. That gives you certain rights over me, but it doesn't give you the right to criticize my politics or tell me what to do in my own time. And the sooner you realize that, the better we'll get on.
All right, lads. Go on, though.
Well, that's another day done with. I'll be at the docks tonight, if I can get any money out of the old woman.
The old woman will be at me tonight if I don't get any money out of the doctor.
There you are, dear. Take the charger to my account, young woman.
Oh, Mrs. Ramsbottom again.
Yes, that's the 4th bottle of perfume she's had this month. But it doesn't make any difference. She still comes through it.
See you at the doors tonight?
Oh, yes, that new chap from the furnishing department's taking me.
Which one's that?
I don't know his name yet, but he's the one in lino with spots. You're coming, aren't you, Jane?
Yes, Mark's taking me. I bought a new dress for it, too.
Oh, lucky you. My boyfriend will have to be content with the old pink taffeta. Good night.
Good night.
See you later, Jane.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
That you, Sarah?
No, it's me.
Oh, I'm just making a pot of tea. Will you have a cup with me?
That one, Grandad. Mark not back yet?
No, love, you're first of them.
It's steady on the tea now.
Huh? Since we adopted you, I haven't had a decent cup of tea.
These shops. You'd think they were doing you a favour serving you. I swear I won't go to them again.
That's right, Lou. You starve. That'll learn them.
Grandad, just look at your braces.
Braces, really? What?
Dangling again. What? You're not fit to live in a respectable house.
Now look what you've done. You'll have me breeches off me backside.
There's your baccy, and you'll be 6 and tuppence.
6 and tuppence?
Aye.
What am I smoking? Gold dust?
And there's a nice bit of tripe for your supper.
Huh?
That's if you've mended your teeth.
Mom, look.
Oh, Jane, dear, it's beautiful.
I'll pick you up in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Jane.
Here, Mark.
Oh, there you are. Supper ready?
Won't be long.
Good. Oh, what's that?
Oh, it's my new dress, of course.
Very nice. What's it for?
The dance tonight, silly.
Dance, I forgot. Jane, I've got a meeting on tonight.
Mark, you're joking. It's a staff dance.
You'll have to go on your own.
But, Mark,
I can't help it, Jane. It's very important.
And I'm not?
Oh, I said I was sorry. Anyway, you know I'm not so hot at dancing. Look, you go on your own. There'll be a lot of fellas there to dance with you, especially if I'm not around.
But I don't want to dance with anyone else. Oh, Mark, you promised...
Jane, please don't start a row. I've got enough on my mind.
I am sick to death of your meetings. And your politics.
Oh, you'll never understand.
Now then, love. No sense in upsetting yourself.
Well, I'm fed up with it, Grandad. He's never in the house 5 minutes nowadays. All he needs at home for is to sleep.
You know what you want is a baby.
Isn't that what every woman wants? But not in my mother's front parlor, thanks.
Oh, nonsense. Why, your mother would love it.
I know she would. I'd never know if it was mine or hers.
Why, you go up a few places on the council's list.
I need quads to get in the first 1,000.
Look, Jane, if you're not going to get my supper, just say so.
Mark, couldn't you possibly get away from the meeting early? I wouldn't mind if we got to the dance late.
Look, can't you understand there are some things more important than dancing?
Got a date, haven't you?
Yes, with some intelligent men.
I see there was a big explosion in the munition works yesterday. That'll be a bit of good news for 'em, won't it?
Look, why don't you stop picking on me? Wasn't my fault I wasn't in the army.
Who said anything about being in the army?
You've always had it in for me, haven't you? Just because I was in a reserved occupation during the war? Just because you've got a chest full of medals, you act like a tin god. And that goes for that ruddy cousin you're always yapping about as well.
Jim Barnes, you mean?
Yeah, that's right. Captain Jim Barnes. Well, he got enough medals in the last lot, didn't he? And what did a grateful country do for him? Bunked him out to Korea to fight somebody else's war for.
He volunteered.
Yeah, more fool him.
Don't talk to him when he's eating. He might choke.
And a good thing, too. Stop him talking tripe.
For heaven's sake, get him out of here before I throttle him, will you?
What have you been up to? Teasing Mark again?
He's like rest on him. No sense of humour.
Maybe so, but he's got a right to his opinions, you know?
Oh, that's all right. There's no reason why he should be walking around the house looking as though he got a mouthful of castor oil.
He's got as much right here as you have. And don't you forget it.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be off soon enough. With my feet first and a hearse they carry me.
Trust you not to walk if you've a chance of a ride.
Supper ready, Mum?
Well, it'll be as soon as your dad gets in.
Well, hurry it up, will you? I've got to meet Mary.
Did I hear you bring your bike indoors?
I had to. It looks like rain.
Well, you can just take it right out again, and quick. You know what your father will say.
All right. I'll move it before he gets here.
You're too late. He is here.
Is that you, Dad?
Oh, is that me? Who did you think it was, Reg Harris?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Dad.
I've told you before to keep that thing out of here.
Oh, look, you've dented my back spokes.
And I'll dent your backside if I find it in here again. Him and his blinking bike. Told him about leaving it in the office. And now that thing. What are we running in this house? An obstacle race?
Oh, sounds like you've had a bad day at the works.
We're all right until I had words with young Mark. We wanted him to work overtime, but he refused.
Oh, now you can't blame him for that, Bill. He's going to take our Jane to a stuffed dance.
Aye, that's what you think. He's told her she can go by herself. He's got a meeting to blow somewhat up.
Grandad, you don't mean it.
I just wanted to apologize for losing my temper at the works today. But I really couldn't work overtime tonight.
Aye, I gathered that.
I'm sorry, but it's important.
Mark, don't disappoint a lad. If you only knew how excited she's been over this dance. Couldn't you manage it just this once?
I've been all through this with her already. It's not for myself, you know. There are others that I'd be letting down.
And what about our Jane? Aren't you letting her down?
You don't think I like leaving her at nights, do you? I've asked her time and time again to come to meetings with me. Or perhaps she hasn't told you that.
She's not interested in your sort of politics.
Well, I'm not interested in her sort of dancing, so that's that.
Oh, there you are.
Yes.
Mark, you'll need this. Looks like rain.
Jane,
Well, are you coming?
yes, I'm coming.
If I were her, I don't know where I'm leaving. That's what I'd do.
If you was her, he'd be glad to get rid of you.
Why can't you tell him to pack up and clear out? If he can't mend his ways.
Listen, Dad, why don't you control your tongue? Haven't you learned anything in 74 years?
I have learned that a man's home's his castle, till vermin gets in.
Never mind the vermin. You get on with your tripe. Jane, would you like a cup of tea, love?
No, thanks, Mom.
Herbert! Come and get your supper. Herbert!
I'll have to be quick, Mum.
What's that supposed to be? Fancy dress?
It's my new cycling outfit. For our holidays, me and Mary are going to the lakes.
Tonight?
Course not. But we thought we'd go for a spin this evening, just to try them out.
All right. Well, for heaven's sake, wait till it gets dark.
Oh, Herbert.
You like the outfit, Mary?
Oh, you look lovely.
I thought we'd try it out tonight.
I'll go and get my bike.
Right. I thought we'd have a run out to the park.
Oh, no, Herbert. Let's go somewhere where everyone can see you.
Oh, all right. You all set?
Yes. Herbert, what do you call this a run?
Ah, but it'll rock me saddle.
Oh, my perm. What about my perm?
Oh.
Oh!
Come on.
Sarah's still upset.
Aye, I've sent her in next door. The time she's had half an hour of Mrs. Entwistle's morning sickness, she'll have forgotten about all her own troubles.
Well, now we'll get a bit of peace.
Aye, cut the crib.
Can we come in, Dad?
Oh, aye.
Evening, Mr. Brown.
Hello, Mary, love.
You doing, Mr. Brown?
Well, don't stand there like orphans at the storm. Sit down.
Are you going to be in here long, Dad?
No, only just all the evening.
Oh. It's raining out and it's cold.
Oh, so that's what it is. I thought someone had seen you in that lot and chucked you into the river.
Well, we couldn't go into Mary's place because they're busy.
10,
20.
30 for one.
31 for 2.
Their Agnes is having a baby.
Well, that'll give your mother something to think about, Mary.
And there, Agnes. 15 for 2, 15 for 4. A pair is 6, and 6 is a dozen, and 2 for a pair in the box. What you got? What the blazes?
Sorry, Grandad.
Why can't you do your courting on the quiet? I never needed no music to help me.
Oh, but look who you married.
It's raining cats and dogs out.
I know. And they can't get into the pictures and their Agnes is having a baby.
Well, you carry on, Herbert, as though we weren't here. I'd like to see how they go about it these days.
Here, Jane and Mark are out. Why don't you go in there if you can't manage in here?
Shall we?
Well, of course. Don't want to spoil your game.
And we don't want to spoil yours, love.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
And turn that wireless off.
And turn that light in there on.
Oh. Things are difficult for young'uns these days. When I were a lad, I did my courting at back of a slag heap. And when it were raining, I knew a nice dry stable I could get in. Them were the days.
Now, who the heck can that be?
Just as I'd got a good hand. We must play this one.
Yes?
Hello, Uncle Bill.
Jim! Why, we thought you were... Come in, lad. Come inside.
Well, how's everyone?
Oh, fine, fine. Let me take your bag. By gum, won't Grandad be glad to see you.
Hurry up and get rid of whoever it is, Bill.
He's never let us hear the last of it since you got that third tip.
Jim! Jim!
Grandad?
It's good to see you, lad. Come in. Sit down. Sit down. I thought maybe you'd...
Bought it? No fear.
Oh, they can't kill tough uns like us, can they? Only it's 2 years since I heard from you.
You know I never write letters, Grandad?
Hey.
Your Aunt Sarah's having a gas next door. I'll give her a knock. Oh, better give them a knock, too, in case. Can I come in a minute? They're too busy.
What is it?
Come on home, you've got company. You're home for good?
I'm on demob leave.
What? You're not coming out?
I stopped one.
No. Dad?
No, not really. How's Jane?
Oh, she's fine, lad.
I'll be glad when Mrs. Entwistle's had that baby and done with it.
Hello, Aunt Sarah.
Why, if it is little Jimmy. Well, sit down, love. Well, I never expected to see you again.
Well, after all, you're the only folks I've got.
What about your wife?
I'm afraid I caught it properly there. She's run off with someone better. Or with more money.
Oh, what a shame. Would you like a nice cup of tea?
No, thanks, Aunt Sarah. I had one at the station.
And what you going to do now, Jim?
Well, they fixed me up with a good job, but it doesn't start for a couple of weeks, so I thought I'd come along and see you all.
And you did quite right, lad. And now you're here, you can stop for a bit.
What?
Grandad, how can he stop here? We've got a house full already.
Oh, now, don't worry about me. I'll go to the hotel.
What? Man with a DCM sleeping yon flea pit? Not on your life. You can have my bed.
Well, I dare say we could manage. If you wouldn't mind the sofa in here.
I'd appreciate it, Aunt Sarah. For tonight, anyway.
Of course. Only it's a bit difficult, like with Jane and Mark in the front parlour, you understand?
Are they living here?
They can't get a house yet.
I see. Is she... Are they in there now?
Oh, bless you, no. You know what youngsters are. They're out somewhere enjoying themselves.
Well, to the hospital,
And I tell you, it's in your power. You're the people who do the work, you know. Not the unions, and not the owners, but you. Without you, the factories will be useless. And it's in your power to shut them up.
Wish we had the power to shut you up.
Yet despite all that, you're the lowest paid, the worst fed and the worst housed. You let yourselves be pushed around like a lot of animals. Not a day passes without one of you getting victimized. Take Matt Kosher, for example.
You take him, we don't want him.
If you don't shut up at the back, you'll be put out.
Oh, and who's going to put me out?
Aye, well. Comrade, please, listen to me. We must not fight amongst ourselves.
Hey, you did not get away with it.
I brought you another rug.
Well, thanks, Aunt Sarah.
I shall have to get you up early in the morning, I'm afraid. There's a bit of a rush here then, with there only being one gas cooker, one bathroom, and so on.
Don't worry, I shall be up before the rest, I expect.
Well, whatever you do, don't let Grandad get in anywhere before you, or you'll be held up for an hour or two.
Right, I'll watch it.
Oh, you look comfortable enough now, so I'll say good night.
Good night, Aunt Sarah. And thanks for everything.
It's a pleasure to have you, Jimmy. I'll switch the light off as I go. Good night, love.
Night, love. I thought you were a ghost.
Not yet, lad. I'd forgotten my biscuits.
Biscuits in bed? I seem to remember a joke about that.
No joke when you've got my trouble. Wakes me up at 4 o'clock every morning regular. And I find if I nibble a couple of these, it sort of soaks up the wind.
Well, good night, Grandad.
Good night, Captain. Sir?
Just looked in to say good night. I didn't wake you up, did I?
No, Uncle Bill.
That's good. Well, sleep well.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure I will.
Aye.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Dad, but you said I could bring it in here after everyone was in bed.
All right, only get it out of the flipping passage. Suppose we ought to be thankful you haven't got a car. It's time you were in bed.
Yes, Mr. Brown. Night, Mr. Brown.
Hello, Herbert.
Hello, Jim. Are you going to sleep here?
Why, did you want to ride around the room?
Eh? Oh, no, I keep it in here usually because there's not enough room in the passage.
Well, don't mind me.
I won't. Has Mark come back yet?
I don't think so. Why?
Well, I wanted to know how they got on at the meeting tonight. There may be a strike, you see.
Would it worry you if there is, Herbert?
Oh, it'll worry me if there isn't. If they come out, me and Mary are going on a bike tour of the lakes.
Oh, I see.
Maybe that's him now. No, it's only Jane. I don't suppose Mark will be back till later. He never is. Well, that seems all right for the night.
Yes, I'm very comfortable, thank you, Herbert.
I meant the bike.
Oh, sorry.
Well, good night.
Good night, Herbert.
You, You like the light off?
Yes, if it's all right with the bike.
Huh?
Oh. Hello, Janie. Did I frighten you?
Why have you come back?
I'm that old bad penny that keeps turning up. Remember?
You shouldn't. I just got used to the idea of never seeing you again.
I know. There's a lot I want to explain.
It's a little late for explanations, isn't it?
Are you happy?
It's happy as most. Why?
They told me you and your husband were out enjoying yourself tonight.
Oh? Yes, yes, that's right. We went to a dance. We're always going dancing. It was great fun. Mark's just seeing some other people home.
Oh, I see.
Well?
Janie, I wanted to come back for you long ago. You must believe that.
I believe it. I know soldiers. They get to leave. They want to have fun, so they look up an old girlfriend.
There's more to it than that.
Yes, the old girlfriend's married. But don't worry, Jim. I'll play the game. We'll have lots of fun, make you feel at home, and send you off overseas to have more fun with someone else.
Janie.
I'll be the perfect hostess. Are you comfortable? Got everything you want for the night? Enough pillows?
Janie,
No. Our hero has returned from the wars. We must keep him happy. Oh, and look at your uniform. The least we can do is to hang...
No, Janie. Janie.
Oh, darling, I'm so sorry.
How are you to know? I'm much better off, really. I always had a corn on that foot.
All those terrible things I said to you just now.
You had every right to. I deserve. Nice night now.
About time after all the rain.
It was like that last night in Blackpool.
That was a wonderful leave.
I remember every detail of it. The night we won the spot dance competition. The dash home in the rain from the pleasure beach. The old harridan of a landlady who wanted to see our marriage lines.
Oh, Jim, why didn't you come back?
I don't know, Janie. I was all mixed up. Didn't know what I wanted. After that leave, there was Germany, Egypt, then Korea. There's always a place where soldiers are wanted.
You've left something very important out, Jim. You got married.
It wasn't important.
It should be.
When I got back from Korea, I found she'd run off with another fellow.
Oh, Jim.
No, it was a mistake anyway. We went to a registrar's office instead of going to...
Blackpool?
No, Janie, no, I didn't mean that. Blackpool was different. Do you hate me?
No, Jim, I don't hate you.
What's more important? Can you forgive me?
I don't know. Does it matter? I must go in now. Mark will be back soon.
Sleep well, Jane.
Same to you. Good night. And Jim, whatever you may have heard, I am happily married.
Jane?
I think she's upstairs, washing.
Who are you?
Her cousin, Jim Bond.
Well, well. I've been waiting a long time to see you in the flesh.
Take a good look.
Oh, you don't look much like a hero to me.
Who could in pajamas?
What are you doing here?
I was trying to get some sleep.
How long are you staying?
Hadn't thought.
Well, this place is already overcrowded, you know.
Is it? Why did you leave?
We would if we could.
You're not comfortable here.
I'm not interested in comfort.
Well, I am.
Oh, I know your type. Anything is good enough for the worker as long as you're all right.
No, you haven't got that quite right. In the Army, we say, never mind you, Jack, I'm well placed. Or words to that effect.
I wasn't in the Army. I didn't fight for freedom and democracy. That's a laugh. Freedom and democracy. $5 a week on the pools and once a week to the pictures. Never mind how, when, or even why they live.
You have got it bad, haven't you? But why tell me all this? What did you tell your bosses? Or are you one of them?
Me? Do I look like one of them? $5,000 a year for telling people like me to produce more and consume less. No, I've no time for any of them. Union bosses, capitalist bosses, or political bosses.
What about scoutmasters?
I can see you're just like the rest of the family. Try and discuss anything about the dogs and the pictures and you've had it.
That's because you're too serious. Make them laugh and they'll give you the shirts off their backs.
I'd rather pay for my own shirt, thanks.
Oh, better still, there's something somewhere about a man forsaking everything but cleaving unto his wife.
Yeah, have you ever tried cleaving onto a wife in your mother-in-law's front parlor?
You got something there.
Anyway, what are you defending? You're no better off. Look, you've been fighting capitalist war since 1939. What do you got to show for it?
I've got 4 post-war credits.
Tell me what they're going to do for people like you, huh?
No, not tonight. I've come a long way and I'm tired.
Okay. I'll see you in the morning, I expect.
Fine. Good night, comrade.
Good night, sucker.
Shall I put the light out for you?
Yes, please.
You sure he'll be all right?
Wonderful, thanks.
Nothing I can get for you?
No, thanks.
Jane, are you coming to bed?
Good night, Jim.
Good night, sweetie.
And good night to you, sweetie. He's a friendly sort of a bloke, isn't he?
Why shouldn't he be?
Why not? You two were pretty thick at one time, weren't you?
Naturally. We grew up together.
Hmm.
What do you mean,
Just that I wouldn't get too friendly again if I were you. He might start getting ideas.
Don't tell me you're going to stoop to anything so ordinary as being jealous.
Me? Not in your life. I'm broad-minded. What happened before we were married is a closed book as far as I'm concerned.
You sure you wouldn't like me to open the book for you? Just a little bit?
No.
Supposing I told you he was more than just a boyfriend?
Look, if you're trying to make me jealous, you're barking up the wrong tree.
All right, Mark.
But if he does start any funny business, he'll know about it.
Don't say any more.
He thinks he can come in here in his fancy uniform and have a darn good romp before going back. He's mistaken.
Oh, please, Mark.
I expect he's banking on everybody feeling sorry for him just because he's fool enough to go off and fight capitalist wars for them.
Mark, shut up. You don't understand.
No, don't I?
He's lost a leg.
Poor devil. Poor stupid devil.
Herbert? Come along now, bathroom's empty.
All right. Fat lot of use getting up.
Come along now, no dawdling.
Darling, I'm waiting for you.
Oh, morning, Jim. Sleep all right?
Like a top.
I heard you spinning.
I'm afraid I'm always a bit restless.
Wonder how things are on the bathroom front.
Are you still hanging about?
Crikey, what chance have I got to do anything else?
You'll be late for work again as sure as fate. Hurry up, the rush is on.
Well, I'll wait a bit. Let the workers go first.
Don't you believe it. You slide in while you've got the chance.
No good?
No, queuing for all parts. Oh, last time.
Herbert!
What?
Come and move your bike. It's in my way.
Oh, not now, Mum.
Very well, if you want me to move it then.
Oh, all right. Come in. Don't mess about with it, or what an house.
Look, darling, about last night,
Not now. I'm in a hurry.
Good morning, comrade. How's the battle?
No cure at the moment, anyway. Look, about last night, I may have appeared a bit rude. I was a bit tired.
Well, you're rude. I hadn't noticed.
Well, I just want you to know that I'm glad to see you here.
waiting for this?
What do you think I'm waiting for, a bus?
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Grandad.
Excuse me.
Here you go. Wait your turn.
Hey, I haven't finished in there yet.
Isn't it about time you were thinking of getting dressed?
Well, fancy meeting you here.
Yes, fancy. How did you find out?
Spies.
Grandad one of them?
Could be.
Oh, this is a friend of mine, Dolly Winch, Jim Barnes.
Pleased to meet you.
How do you do, darling?
Oh, granted, I'm sure.
I wanted to talk to you.
Here?
Well, I thought perhaps you'd have lunch with me.
Well,
You wouldn't mind, would you, darling?
Oh, not at all. I'd love to.
Oh,
Oh, come on, Jane. Be a sport.
well, if you're quite sure I won't be in the way.
Oh, not at all. Don't be silly. Where shall we go?
somewhere quiet.
I know just the place. Come on.
You sure this isn't a little too quiet?
No, come on, quick, before it gets too crowded. Where do you work, Jim?
I don't. That is, I was in the army.
Really? Oh, what a funny thing now. I used to have a boyfriend in the army. Well, not really in the army.
An officer?
No, a deserter. Oh, but he was ever so nice, really he was. You'd never think he'd been to an approved school. Lovely manners he had. But the things he used to tell me about the army, well, it was quite obvious, of course, that they never really understood him. There was one sergeant, he said, who used to say the most terrible things to him, use words he couldn't possibly repeat to a nice girl, and I couldn't, of course, repeat them here. But, of course, I don't wonder he got out of it, because fancy asking a sensitive lad like that to get up at 5:30 in the morning. Of course, you're much different. You're stronger and much nicer, and I can see that...
What, me?
Oh. Yes, you handsome. By yourself.
How's my favourite orator? All right. That's the boy. Help yourself. Thanks. Look, the meeting's in the same place tonight. Ready to face him again? Tonight? Sure. I didn't think I ought to, after last night. Well, you're not afraid of a few things being thrown at you, are you? No, I wasn't thinking of that. That's when you got to hit him again. If once they see we're afraid of them, we've had it. You'll have to speak again. Yeah, I suppose so. That's the boy. Have another sandwich. No thanks, comrade. Might spoil my lunch.
Here we are, back through Grasmere, and then we can go up Helvellyn.
I know you're so set on going, Herbert, but I don't think we should. We're going to need every penny.
I tell you, we can do the whole thing for £12.
£12 is £12 if ever we're going to get married.
I'm not stopping, so you can carry on.
We were just planning out the best route.
By God, this cold weather makes your knees red, lass.
Yes, it's the wind mainly.
You shouldn't suffer with that at your age.
Now, how far had we got?
It's no good looking. My mind's made up.
I don't see what you're worrying about. Your Agnes will get a council house now she's had the other baby.
What, me? Set up house at my mother's place? If that's what you're waiting on, our engagement's off.
Well, I don't see what else we can do unless Jane and Mark leave.
Are you out of your mind? I wouldn't come here to live with your mum, not...
What's wrong with my mum?
Aye. What is wrong with me, lass?
Oh, Mrs. Brown. Well, I didn't mean anything by that. It's just that, well, I want to have children.
You never said anything up to now about having kids.
Well, what did you expect to have? Bicycles? Now, come on, get this muck off the table. That'll be a dead, and I've got tea to get.
Mum asked if Herbert could come to tea with us this evening.
She's welcome to him.
I'll go and get my bike.
Bike. And it's only 4 doors down the street.
About? I've been on my feet all day, haven't I? Come on, Mary.
Night, Mrs. Brown.
Good night, love.
Night, Mr. Brown.
No,
Hello, dear. Had a good day?
I'm fed up with those young idiots at the works.
Huh? What have they been up to this time?
Trying to start a strike. What's more, they look like getting one.
Oh. Well, you could do with a rest. We'll manage somehow. We always have before.
That Mark's at the bottom of it. Him and his rotten pals. He stood up on the platform last night in defiance of union officials, mind you, and had the nerve to tell him that Matt Kosher was victimized. Victimized. And him the drunkenest, laziest...
Bill!
Well, it fair gets my goat.
You men. You're all born with enough brain and muscle to do a useful job of work. Yet you all end up as politicians.
I suppose you'd like women to run the country for us.
Well, we couldn't do much worse.
And have the men do your jobs, eh?
Yes. If it wasn't for the fact that you men would make such a mess of having babies, we'd finish up with a pram full of monkeys or something.
When you see Jane, will you tell her I had to go out, please?
I'll tell her, lad.
Another meeting of the Brains Trust.
A committee meeting, if that's what you mean.
Look, I know it's no business of mine. I only work at the factory. But when's the lightning strike going to start?
Now look, I've got no quarrel with you, but I'm fighting for what I believe to be right.
Such as getting Matt Kosher reinstated, I suppose.
No, I'm not fighting for Matt Kosher, but I am fighting against the machine that tossed him out. The machine that allows men to be pushed around like so many pawns.
Machine pawns. Talk sense, man.
The baker was telling me today he's had to get a new horse. The other one used to get itself all worked up and excited whenever a motor blew its horn.
I suppose you're right. I think I'd better go.
If I throw you out, I suppose you'll go around yelling that you're being victimized.
It's a free country. He's a right to his opinions, no matter how silly.
Just a minute, lass. So I'm just an old motor blowing its horn. What the blazes?
Eyes down! Look at it! Look at that!
An egg!
Aye, an egg. She's done it at last.
What are you going to do with it?
Why, have it for tea, of course.
What, all of us?
No, that won't do. Get cards out. We'll cook for it.
Look out!
You can still scramble it.
No, thanks. We'll wait for the next one. 2 years will soon pass.
Mom, I just saw Mark's mum and dad coming this way.
Never.
Come in here. I'm off.
No, you don't, Grandad. You'll stay here and suffer with the rest of us.
Mark in yet?
Aye, and out again. Another of his precious meetings.
Oh, that's fine.
Perhaps they'll go past us.
Not her. See?
Look, if we all keep quiet, maybe they'll think we're out.
Bill.
Well, here goes.
Gracious me with a dirty tablecloth. I know she'd just love to see that. Quick, give me a hand.
Nice time to come calling on folks.
Sure was an awkward one. Never see her from 1 year's end to the next. Then she calls in the middle of tea.
Your mother in?
Yes. How nice to see you. Come in.
Is your dad in too?
Yes. Well, look who's here, Mom. Mr. and Mrs. Hadley.
Oh, how lovely to see you both.
Hello, Sam. Good to see you.
Aye, same here, Bill. I hope we haven't come at an awkward time.
No, you couldn't have come with a better one.
That's right. You're just in time for a cup of tea, Polly Ann.
No, thanks. We're not going to stop.
That's good.
Where's our Mark?
Oh, I'm sorry. You just missed him.
I'm sure you're very sorry.
Not very. Just sorry.
We haven't seen him for months. We thought we'd better come along to see if he was still alive.
Was he when you saw him last, Grandad?
As much alive as he's ever likely to get.
Ah, here we are. Now, I know you'll have a cup, Polly Ann. What about you, Sam?
I've always got room for a drop of your tea, Sarah.
Not too strong, go straight to his stomach.
Look at her. She's always on about my stomach.
Shut up.
It must be nearly 6 months since we saw you.
Well, we still live at number 46, don't we? And the number's on the door.
And we still live in number 12. And it's no further from here to there than it is from there to here.
And there's buses every 10 minutes, both ways.
And if someone were to hurry, they'd just catch it.
Have you found a house yet?
A house? What's that?
You are trying, I hope. Or don't you want to leave your mother?
There are 10,000 before me on the list. And seeing that Mark's got no point to break service and I know kids, there always will be.
Well, the remedy for that lies in your own hands, I should have thought.
If you've come for a row, I'm just in the mood.
Now, Jane, that's enough.
No, it's not enough. I walked holes in my shoes looking for a place. I've answered hundreds of adverts, and the only offer I've had so far was 1 room with 1 table and chair and 50 quid to get in. He's your son. Why don't you try and do something?
Jane, mind your temper. Have a piece of cake, Sam.
Oh, thanks. I'm fond of a bit of homemade cake.
I hope there's plenty of bicarbonate in it.
There she goes again. She'll be throwing me over her shoulder next.
I know how you feel about Mark, Polly, but it's not our fault that he hasn't been to see you lately. He's been busy.
I'm not saying it's your fault, Mr. Brown.
No, it's mine, of course.
Well, if the cap fits...
I've told him to go and see you over and over again, but I might as well talk to a brick wall. If you want to see him, you better write and ask for an appointment. He might even like to see his wife at the same time. I need some fresh air.
Jane.
I'm sorry, Mom. But the only time I see your precious son is when he turns over in bed. So work that one out.
Well, when will you learn to keep your big mouth shut?
Do you realise that precious son of yours hasn't taken Jane out for 3 months or more? And hardly been home of an evening?
Perhaps he's got something better to do.
He's got a lot to do, right enough. If he were my lad, I'd put him across my knees, big as he is, and give him a walloping. If it weren't for the fact I might knock his brains out doing it.
Sam, I've heard quite enough.
Well, you can't say you didn't ask for that, Polly Ann.
Are you coming, or have I got to send your bed?
No hard feelings, Bill?
No hard feelings, Sam.
Sam?
You'd better get along. Good night.
Good night. With her, some hopes.
Did I tell you about that lass I knew in Singapore?
No. And you better not while I'm around.
Go away, woman, and look after your man.
Jim's just come in. I'm going to get him some tea.
Hello.
Hungry, Jim?
Yes, I could eat a horse, Aunt Sarah.
I should if I were you. It tastes a lot nicer than what she'll cook for you.
Oh, you.
Hello, Jim. Had a nice day?
I've just been walking around, thinking, looking.
Hey, I noticed in the paper there's an old-fashioned dance on at the Assembly Hall tonight.
You're going, Janie?
No.
No, she can't go. Mark's got a meeting tonight. Pity.
Couldn't I take her?
I don't know about that. Might not be proper.
Well, now, steady on. Jane and I have known each other for years. Surely. How about it, Janie?
Yes. Why not?
Profits which could give you higher wages and decent living conditions. Profits which could build you houses. What does it matter if the unions do refuse to back our claims? They don't do the work. We do. So let's fight the owners themselves on their own ground. You to back up the committee. We've got to be solid behind this, and then we'll make one last effort to get the management to listen to our claims.
We've given them every chance. We've tried to negotiate, but they refused. We've tried to have friendly talks with them, but they wouldn't. They forced a strike, and they'll get it. Are you with me?
That settles it. Out he goes.
No. You've said often enough a man's got a right to his opinions.
I don't deny him the right to shout his opinions from the housetops. But I've got my rights too. This is my house. I bought it. And one of my rights is to bar the door against any man I don't want to listen to. Maybe it's the only freedom I've got left, but it's a good one. And by gum, I'm going to use it.
Bill, have some sense. They've nowhere to go. You can't do it.
I can do, and I'm going to.
What about our Jane?
He can leave her here.
You old devil. If they part, You'll be the first to go, and quick.
I'll be gone soon enough. But she's young. She ought to enjoy herself.
Maybe he's right, Sally. They should have parted long since.
You too? You don't know what you're saying. You fool.
I'm sorry if I upset you, love. Oh, I know how you feel about it, but I can't help it. My mind's made up. It's him or me. There's not room for both of us in this house. But we've always made our decisions together in the past, and I would like you to be with me in this one, Sarah, love.
I better get on with the ironing. There's one or two things about Jane's there. She'll need them to take with her.
He's a very good speaker, that, Mr. Humphrey. Well, didn't you think he gave an interesting talk?
How should I know? I was asleep.
Ready?
Yes. Well, did you see that, Samuel?
What?
Only our Mark's wife going off with their new lodger, that's all.
Go on. Not the one I saw with at the dogs.
That'll be him. Come along.
Where to?
To see Mark.
Oh, no. You can go if you want to. I'm going to have a drink.
A drink? After just coming out of a Bible meeting?
Well, you heard what that Mr. Humphrey said about the unquenchable spirit?
Well?
No, there's given me an unquenchable thirst, and I'm going to slake it.
Would you like another drink?
No, thanks, Jim. We'd better get home, if you don't want to miss the fun.
Fun?
Mark's mother saw us coming in just now.
Oh, I see. Well, I suppose he had to know sometime. You think she'll go around home and tell him tonight?
No, like a streak of lightning. I can see her this very minute. I am not the one to poke my nose into other folks' affairs.
But my son's affairs are my affairs and always will be. And nobody can deny a mother's right to that.
What are you guessing about?
You'll soon know, if you'll allow me to wait here till Mark comes back.
You'll have to wait a long while then. He's down at strike committee meeting, clapping himself on the back.
I can wait, if I'm not keeping you up.
Well, don't stand there like Patience on a monument. Sit down and tell us what's up.
She's got something on her mind. If she doesn't get it off soon, she'll bust her britches.
I hear that you've got so much room here that you've taken in a lodger.
He isn't a lodger. I'm putting up my sister-in-law's lad for a while. But I didn't know it had been put out on BBC.
I suppose you know that Jane's carrying on with him.
Oh, so that's it. Aye, that's what I like about you, Polly Ann. You can smell muck a mile off.
Then you admit there's muck to smell?
Certainly not.
But I saw them myself drive up in a taxi as brazen as you please. You'd never have caught me doing that with a lodger.
You'd never have been asked.
I hope you know what you're playing at, Polly Ann.
I know that she's my son's wife, and it was high time that he was told she got a fancy man.
Well, that's enough. I'll not have anybody talking about my girl like that.
Truth always hurts.
How dare you?
Get out of here.
Is that you, Mark? Mark,
Mother, you're out late, aren't you?
I've been waiting to see you.
I can't stop now. I'm in a bit of a rush. I only came back to collect some papers.
Good. And while you're getting them, you can get the rest of your things.
What is this?
You heard me. Pack up your bags and get out. And then go and scream to your pals that you've been victimized.
Has Jane been told about this?
Don't you worry about her. She's with her fancy man.
Her what?
Her fancy man, the lodger.
Jim?
Yes, Jim, if that's his name.
Well, I'm damned.
Well, what you going to do about it, Mark?
Jim's all right.
Well, I never heard the like of that in all my days. Aren't you going to do anything about it?
Yeah, I'm going to tell Jane to pack her things. We're not welcome here.
Taking you long enough to find that out.
Oh, well, blind spirit, I can see you giving him the glad tidings.
For tonight we'll marry be.
I told him the truth, and I don't need any booze to help me.
God, all the more for us. For tomorrow we'll be sober. For tonight we'll marry be. For tonight we'll marry be. For tonight we'll marry be. Tomorrow we'll be sober. Come on, let's have some glasses.
Glasses? What for?
I'm asking you to have a drink. Go, come on, Bill.
I'm in no mood for boozing, Sam.
No hard feelings, Bill.
No hard feelings, Sam.
How you can think of drinking in this house of shame, I don't know.
Oh, shut up, you silly old woman.
I'll talk to you when you're sober. Mark wants to carry on as if nothing had happened.
Well, and what has happened?
I can guess.
Oh, for heaven's sake, get her home, Sam, before I do something I shall be sorry for.
I'm not budging.
Come on, get yourself up.
You'll have to carry me out.
It's a pleasure. Come on now.
Hey,
come on now. Come on now.
What's all this?
Sam,
She's here.
What are you doing? Put her down, I tell you. You'll have all the neighbours in.
Well, here goes. We might as well give them what they're looking for.
Oh, that was a wonderful evening, Jim, darling.
I'm glad you liked it, sweetie.
There. What did I tell you?
I'm warning you for the last time, Pollyann.
Well, look who's here. What a surprise. Jim, come and see what the cat brought in.
Good evening.
Same to you. Have a drink.
Oh, thanks. I will.
There. What did I say?
Like my new dress? Jim does. Oh, it's been wonderful. We've been everywhere. Maloney's, Three Horseshoes, and then to the orchard.
In a taxi.
That's right. In a nice dark taxi.
Jane, do you know what you're saying?
Of course.
You villain. What did you put in her drink?
Vodka.
Where have you been?
I thought your mother had told you.
I'd rather hear it from you. What's got into you?
Are you asking me to confess everything in front of your mother? That wouldn't be fair to Jim.
Now, steady on, sweetie. If you want to know whether I'm in love with Jane, the answer is yes. I always have been. But if you want to know whether it's gone any further, the answer is no.
Not yet, anyway. Thank you, Jim. But we've got lots of time ahead of us.
Your father's chucked us out. You're coming with me tonight.
To your mother's? No thanks.
I'll give you 2 minutes to pack a bag and change out of that dress.
I am not leaving tonight.
You mean you'd stay here without me?
It wouldn't be the first time.
Then you are in love with him, aren't you? You'll come with me if I have to carry you.
Let go. You're hurting me.
Now, look, you're my wife, and you'll do what I tell you.
Leave me alone. Go away. I hate you.
Well, you've got what you've wanted. You've broken us up. I hope you're satisfied.
Locked him out of his room. That's what she's done. She'll not get a penny piece. I'll see to that.
Aye, I'll bet you will.
Look after it, Jim.
You look after yourself, comrade.
You needn't worry about my son. You'll have me to look after him now, thank you.
You make me sick.
You've asked for that, Pollyann. And may you be forgiven for what you've done this night.
You better save your prayers for her.
No hard feelings, Bill.
No hard feelings, Sam.
For tonight we'll marry be. For tonight we'll marry be. For tonight we'll marry be. Tomorrow we'll be sober.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Dad.
Eh? Oh, that's all right, son.
Jane, love. It's me. They've all gone. Don't fret, love. You're doing fine.
Of settlement in strike. After 6 days of strike, there was hope last night of a general return to work. Well, read it yourself. And this is no newspaper yarn, it's true. There is a movement to go back. And do you know who's behind it all? Your blinking father-in-law. What? Your father-in-law, Bill Brown. Look, what's the matter with you? And where have you been the last week?
I haven't been feeling too good.
You'll feel a darn sight worse if this strike fails. They mustn't go back.
We've no right to stop them if that's what the majority wants.
They don't know what they want. Now listen, they've called a mass meeting for this afternoon. Well, we're going to be there, and you're going to do the talking, not Bill Ruddy Brown.
Frank, I don't know about this.
You turning Blackleg too?
All right. I'll be there.
Okay. See you at 3:30 in the committee rooms.
Are you all right, son?
Yes, I'm all right.
Well, I don't like to think of you sitting up here all by yourself.
I'm all right, Mother.
Well, it'll be dinner time soon. Now, what would you like? Would you like a tin of salmon or a nice bit of cold ham?
Anything you like. I don't mind. Anything you like.
You sure you're all right?
For Pete's sake, stop fussing around me, will you, Mother?
Well, I'm only trying to please you, dear.
Look, just leave me alone, will you? That's all I ask. Just leave me alone.
Been up here all day.
I'm quite all right. Just leave me alone.
Hello, Jane, love. Aren't you going out tonight?
No, Grandad.
Where's Jim?
He went down to the local for a game of darts.
Oh.
Everything is so mixed up. Why did he have to come back?
When a man's in love, he usually does. Jane, do you love him?
He's had such a rotten time with his marriage going wrong, and then his leg.
That doesn't matter. The important thing is, do you love him?
I did. And, yes, I do.
I see. Has he asked you to go away with him?
No, of course not.
You want him to?
I don't know. Really, I don't.
Well, if you don't know, love, if something inside you hasn't told you, why ask me?
Because you're very old and very wise.
Mm-hmm. I'm old right enough. You know, 50 years since I fell in love with a lass. She was a beauty, too. Made my heart jump every time I looked at her.
Do you mean Granny?
No. Granny and me were wed. We'd planned it all to run away together. Didn't bother about anybody. Only thought about our own little bit of happiness. She had her bags already packed. And then on the night we were to go, your granny told me she was going to have your father. I've often wondered whether that lass would have stopped with me or not. Or whether I'd have got tired of her. Fancy women soon go second hand, you know.
Did Granny ever get to know?
I think she knew all the time, but she never let on. She made a rabbit pie for me that night. It's a funny thing. I can remember that rabbit pie with its rich brown crust as though it were yesterday. But I'm hanged if I can remember that lass's name. Queer, isn't it?
Did it upset you?
I had indigestion for 3 weeks. But your granny soon dosed that out of me.
And so?
Well, so the moral is that In the long run, a rabbit pie is more tasty than a fancy woman.
Now, what are you up to? Stuffing her head with more of your nonsense, I suppose?
No, I'm giving her a recipe for a rabbit pie.
If you'd kept your mouth closed in the first place, she'd never have started going out with Jim.
Aye, and if you'd made men, you'd have put wings on them.
Have you heard from Mark yet?
You know quite well I haven't.
Then I think it's high time you went round to his mother's before something serious happens.
And begged to be taken back, I suppose?
It doesn't do a woman any harm to climb down now and then. Especially if she's in the wrong.
Wrong? Before he left me, I was always in the right. Now I'm wrong. Well, if it's any satisfaction to you, you've helped me to make up my mind. Only it's not the way you want it.
You must be daft, woman.
Oh, shut up. When I want your advice, I'll ask for it.
I won't shut up. You don't even know your own daughter. You can lead her by the hair of her pretty head, but you'll never drive her.
Things may not be exactly as we'd like them to be, I'll be the first to say that. But we're no worse off than the rest of the country. And we're a darn sight better off than most other countries in the world today. Hear, hear. But the quickest way to drag this country down to the level of the others is to keep on down in tools. Mind you, don't get me wrong. I'll always abide by the wish of the majority. But I don't believe that the majority of you do want this strike.
Let's go back!
And that's why
He's got
I
'em
say,
with him, blast
let's
him.
go back to work, lads.
Oh, what's the use? You can't
Are
argue
with me?
against that.
All I want is your authority, and
We're
I'll
not
go
finished
straight
yet.
to the owners and
It's practically the whole plant here.
Into work
What can you
tomorrow.
do?
Where's our common sense, lads?
Oh,
Don't
sure,
let us
yeah.
lose our sense of proportion.
No, Frank, not that way.
What about it?
Don't listen to Bill Brown. What does he know about it?
Go on, get on this. Go on home. If the bosses want us back at work, they must take Matt Kosher back too.
Where is that kosher?
He's at the Star and Garter. Matt Kosher is a victim of class distinction.
Sam, hello. Well, I never expected to see you.
It's Polly Ann, Sarah. She wants to see you, if it's all right.
It's about time she came to her senses. All right. Tell her I'll be here when she wants me.
Well, Polly's here now.
I just had to come, Sarah. I'd have gone out of my mind if I hadn't.
Come in, love. It's about time you and me buried the hatchet.
Well, what's this, a peace conference?
He does come out with them, doesn't he, Sarah?
Oh, he's so sharp he'll cut himself one of these days. Sit down, Polly. Oh, you look proper poorly.
This business has taken 20 years off my life.
You don't look any younger to me.
Shut up. I know the very thing for you, love. A nice drop of port.
Believe me or believe me not, I've not had a wink of sleep this week past. Nobody knows what I've been through. Well, it's such a shock. I've never seen such a change in a lad in all my life.
Oh, well, just you drink this up.
I've had a shock too, Sarah.
Have you? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sam. I'll get you a good dose of bicarb.
Sarah, what do you think? The strike's over. We go back in the morning.
Oh, what have you been doing with yourself, man?
Stopping the strike.
Just look at the mess you're in, Bill. Fancy fighting at your age.
Oh, stop fussing me, love. There's nothing wrong. I'll get cleaned up in a minute. What are they doing here?
Drinking all our port.
Jane,
Mark, what's happened?
Oh, it's nothing. I want to talk to you, Jane. Can I come in?
I suppose so. The rest of your family's here, so why not? Wonderful, isn't it? Our separation has brought the two families together in a united front with a common purpose. One of your favorite bits, Mark.
Look, Jane, I know I've made mistakes, plenty of them. But since we've been apart, I've realized one thing that's important to me, and that's you.
It's too late, Mark.
Now, listen to me, Jane, please. I want to get out of this town. There are a lot of places up north where I can get a job, places where we can be on our own. Will you come with me, please?
It's too late. I made up my mind. I'll give you evidence for divorce.
I'll never divorce you, Jane, never.
You must not.
I love you, Jane, and if we clear out of here, it'll be all right, I promise you.
I couldn't go through all this again. I just couldn't.
Jane,
I shouldn't go after her, Mark.
Leave her to cool up for a bit.
she'll come round in a minute.
Did you have to come poking your nose in again?
Don't talk to me like that.
Oh, she was only trying to help, lad.
Now listen to me, all of you. The best way you can help is to leave us alone. If she wants to burn the bacon or give me custard for scrambled eggs, I have to eat it, you know, not you. So leave us alone, will you? If I want a blacker eye, that's my business. Let's fight like cat and dog if that's the only way we can live together. Let's make a mess of our lives if we want to, but for heaven's sake, leave us alone. And if you don't, we shall end up by hating you.
Don't try and put all the blame on us, lad.
Oh, I don't. Look, I know I've slipped up badly. But still, what happens between a man and his wife is private, and as soon as it stops being that way, we might just as well be cattle living in a field.
Where are you going, son?
I'm gonna get drunk.
Good, I'll come with you.
Well, did you ever see the like of that? They'll be the death of me, those two, between...
I hope so. I knew you'd muck it up between you.
Perhaps you'd like to have a go if you think you're so clever.
Perhaps I will. I'll see you get rid of yon lot of rubbish before I get back.
Oh, that does it. You're too good for me.
Signs of a misspent youth, I'm afraid. Half, please.
Half, right.
Have one with me, anyway.
No, thanks, mate. I'd better get off home to the old woman. With a bit of luck, I'll have my supper thrown at me while it's still warm. Come on, boy.
Good night, Jim.
Good night.
Good night.
2 pints, please.
Hello, Mr. Higginbottom. How are you?
All right, then.
You too, Grandad?
I couldn't stay in the house. Too many darned women.
Have a drink?
Thanks, Jim.
Pint of beer, please.
Long time since I was in a pub. Smells good. Used to be a dab hand with these, too.
Like to try your luck?
Aye, I'll have a go. You know, things have come to a bit of a head tonight, Jim.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do about it?
Well, I was just wondering if you might like to go away.
Go away? Why?
Give Jane a chance to get her mind clear.
If you think my going away would make any difference toward my feeling for Jane, you're wrong.
I'm thinking more of her feelings. She's not the sort of lass that hangs about round the barrack gates, you know.
I never thought she was.
Well, I just mentioned it in case you might think she loves you over what's happened during the war.
Oh? And what happened during the war?
What happens to most young couples in all wars, as far as I've heard of. They put passions into the lads and sympathies into the lasses. And before you know where you are, they think they're Romeo and Juliet. Then when peace comes, they find they're just Charlie and Maud after all.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you for me or against me?
I'm for Jane.
So am I.
I know that, lad. I'm only asking that you make sure she does love you before you do anything rash. This story about your wife running off, is it true?
Of course it is. I wouldn't make up a yarn like that.
Oh, well, I've known soldiers make up worse ones to get what they want.
You know me better than that.
All the same, supposing it weren't true, supposing you hadn't lost your foot, you think Jane would just be the same?
Of course she would.
I wonder.
I'm sure, but...
It'd be very interesting to find out. She's back in her own room now, all alone.
Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? It's to ask her.
Hello, Mark. So we're back at work again tomorrow. I'm not sorry. I'd rather have your father-in-law for a foreman than my missus. Huh? Don't excite yourself. Ah.
Mark.
No, it's me.
Oh, Jim.
Disappointed? What happened between you two this evening?
I told him I wanted a divorce. That we were finished.
Yet you were hoping he'd come back.
Yes. No. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Just take me away from here, please, Jim.
I'm ready. But are you?
Yes.
Janie, are you sure? Positive you'll have no regrets?
Of course not, darling. I want to get away. Don't you see? Once we get away from here, I'll forget about Mark and everything that's happened.
Yes. Yes, of course you will.
What's the matter, Jim?
Nothing, just thinking.
About what?
Janie, supposing that story I told you about my wife wasn't true.
But it is true, isn't it?
No.
I don't understand what you mean.
She's in London still.
She didn't run off with anybody?
No.
Are you separated?
We were living with her family. Our marriage was a mistake. For me, anyway. You see, I never forgot you. I had to see you again.
She wants you to go back to her, I suppose.
Naturally.
Why don't you go? I won't keep you.
I've told you I don't love her. I suppose she thought the baby would make everything all right.
Baby?
Yeah, she's going to have one. So she says.
Is it so impossible then?
Not impossible. But it's just a trick to get me back. I know her. Besides, what difference does it make?
What difference?
I love you, Janie. That's all that matters.
But you lied to me. Why?
I couldn't very well tell you I was happily married and going to have a baby, now could I? Besides, you're on the same boat. You want to leave your husband? Or don't you?
No, Jim. I only thought I wanted to. I don't think I ever did want to, really.
That's that.
Yes, Jim. Please go now.
All right. That's the way you want it.
Well, Jim?
You and your supposing.
Was I right?
I was a fool to let you talk me into doing that.
I know, lad.
And I wouldn't do it again for a VC.
What are you going to do now?
Go to Newcastle. The job starts next week, and I've yet to find a home for my family.
Family?
Oh, of course. You haven't heard. I just got my wife back. And a baby.
So that's how you did it. Well.
Where's Mum?
Upstairs with your dad.
I can't talk to her there.
Well, you can't talk to her here. Get out, go on. So we shan't be seeing you again, Jim.
No. Yeah, the trouble is, Grandad, I've hurt her. The last person in the world I'd want to hurt.
Well, don't worry. She'll get over it. They always do.
Yes. But will I?
If I were you, I'd get me a nice rabbit pie.
What?
Never mind. I'm going to miss you, Jim.
Grandad, say goodbye to Aunt Sarah for me and take care of Jane.
Wait a minute. Come here, lad. Look. I'd like you to take this as a souvenir. My Omdurman Star, Egypt, 1896. First battle I ever fought in with Kitchener and old Churchill.
No, Grandad.
Well, take it. What you did today showed far more courage than I've ever had. And St. Peter will never notice I'm improperly dressed.
Thanks, sir.
Damn. Must be growing old.
Like a drink?
No, thanks, I'll go on.
Quite a beer, George.
Coming up. You going away?
Yeah. Jane said if you weren't doing anything tonight, she'd like to see you. I'd go if I were you, comrade.
Thanks, sucker.
Do you feel like making a night of it, laddie?
I always do.
What are we waiting for? George, make that 2 more pints of beer.
Right. Jane.
Well, it'll be lovely having the house to ourselves again. I think I'll shift you in there, Grandad.
Oh, no, you won't. I'm keeping that front parlour for my Sunday afternoon nap. We'll have a gas fire put in and sit there every blinking night. I'm fed up with keeping that room for weddings and funerals.
And it'll come in very useful for Herbert and Mary, because they've nowhere to do the courting when it's wet.
There you are, Mum.
Well, don't stand there looking so miserable, the pair of you. We've got good news. Jane and Mark have made it up and they're moving out. Now, what do you think of that?
Oh, it's marvellous. When are they going?
Oh, soon, I expect. It'll be like home sweet home again.
Mum, Mary and me is getting married.
What?
What? Can we have the room?
You? Don't be daft. You ought to know what married life's like in rooms by now. No, you wait till you get a place of your own.
Well, that's the trouble. We can't wait. We need somewhere right away.
Can't? Herbert, what have you been up to?
Well, now that Agnes has had a baby, there's no room for Mary's bike.
Another full house and we start all over again.
Hi, this is Elisa from Colourised Cinema. Thank you for watching. Here we have a selection of 5 black and white films that have been colorized and have not been posted on social media platforms. 1. Suspicion. Suspicion is a 1941 romantic psychological thriller film noir, directed by Alfred Hitchcock and starring Cary Grant and Joan Fontaine as a married couple. 2. Spellbound is a 1945 American psychological thriller film, also directed by Alfred Hitchcock, and starring Ingrid Bergman, Gregory Peck, and Michael Chekhov. 3. The Big Combo. The Big Combo is a 1955 American film noir crime film directed by Joseph H. Lewis and starring Cornell Wilde, Richard Conte, and Brian Donlevy. 4. The Strange Love of Martha Ivers. The Strange Love of Martha Ivers is a 1946 American film noir drama directed by Louis Milestone and starring Barbara Stanwyck, Van Heflin, Elizabeth Scott, and Kirk Douglas in his film debut. 5. The Naked City. The Naked City, aka Naked City, is a 1948 American film noir directed by Jules Dassin and starring Barry Fitzgerald, Howard Duff, Dorothy Hart, and Don Taylor. If you're interested, please click on the shop link in the description for more information.